All right, here we go. It's about that time. Thank you so much for coming. I hope everybody is having fun. Having got if you are at a gaming convention, I'm assuming that gaming is a big part of your life. This isn't one of those things that people just kind of, I know personally, people don't casually go to, right, weekend-long gaming conventions. Do they? Anybody casual? If you're here, it means gaming is an important part of your life, right? If this is something that you're like, yes, I want to spend my time, money, energy, go out and deal with the people that are going to be here this weekend, I'm thrilled to see you and have you here as a fellow gaming aficionado. Hey, aficionado. All right, so I'm LL Cool Games. I kind of dabble in YouTube. I'm on Facebook. And I love video games. I've loved video games for a very long time. Here is an ancient artifact. I'm guessing this is around Christmas 1984. And I'm the little bald person sitting next to my mother playing on an Atari 2600. She has the game directions out, and then there's even a joystick sitting in front of me. So that's how long I've been gaming for, since I was a very, very little person. The Atari, as I was discussing previously, was kind of a sacred thing. I have a younger brother who's about 2 years younger, and over the summers is the only time the Atari came out, right? And then we each got to have an hour, but, right, parents' angle, if we played a game together, then our hours increased, right? We could play for 2 hours if we played together. So that just kind of evolved. We had a neighbor that had Super Nintendo, and then we didn't get another console in our house until the Nintendo 64. By the time the Nintendo 64 came into the house, I was in middle school, and Banjo-Kazooie was when I first really got down hard on gaming. I had a game guide, and I don't think it was like a game guide, not like a Brady Games, you know, like beautifully illustrated and all the walkthroughs and everything. I'm guessing it was part of maybe like a Nintendo Power, right? Like a section of kind of a walkthrough that kind of gave me most of the ideas. Long story short, I still don't have all 100 puzzle pieces, but maybe someday, right, when I'm retired, I'll go back and get those other two. I know exactly where they are, which is a problem. So it's kind of one of those things where that's what I see as my gaming foundation. Right? These were things, there were other things, right? I had those goofy little tiger games, which I loved, but right, if you're on a trip, you have to play it in the light of the window because it doesn't light up. Really, I had some of those other little side things, but the Nintendo 64 really kind of started to help me. And so it's interesting to have that as where I'm coming from. But everybody else, right, we're all coming from very different places, right? And Tandy is a very different starting place than even an Atari or a Nintendo 64. So it's super interesting to think about where we started, right? How that's where we're all coming from. And yet here we are all now together doing this. Wow. Like how did where I came from and you lead us all to here? So I am going to finally pick up a mic. Let's see. No, this. Mic. Ooh. And I'm gonna grab the other mic and we'll just kind of discuss a little bit, right? Give me your 30-second who I am as a gamer, where your stepstone was, right? Where that first moment was, what it was. We're gonna make our VIP go first. She sat in the front row. Right? Where did you start?
So.
Uh-oh. No? We're just gonna swap mics? No? No, we'll just share.
Does it have a range? No. Okay. So gaming for me started, the first video game I ever played was Mortal Kombat, unfortunately, on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, Super Nintendo?
Yeah, but a game I absolutely mastered as a kid was Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. And PC gaming started for me, not on Windows, but on Macintosh with Macworld 3D. So ever since then, been a boom shoot grunt, been PC gaming for most of my life, been console gaming for most of my life. It's just top 3 favorite games: Okami, Final Fantasy X, and Fear.
Amazing. So we had an Apple LC3, was our first, I don't know if it even had color, right? And you played like the stupid like tank games, right? You had to like shoot at each other and shoot the tanks and stuff. And it's so funny to think that was computer gaming. Like computer gaming now, there's like full motion rigs, right? Or like car things. Outside of Limited Run, there's an Apex Racing. It's literally a video game, folks. You go in and you sit in a booth and you drive, and it's like a real competition, right? There's real human beings playing that around the world. That comes from, right, playing barely colored games. It's fantastic. Anybody else? What was your first gaming?
My first gaming really, I did arcades back in the 80s.
Awesome.
And Space Invaders and Asteroids and all that. But the first console I ever had was the Genesis. And I got actually 2 game which
Yeah, and it came with Sonic the Hedgehog too, which was the game that made me a Sonic fan. There was 3.
she's the game.
Yeah, me and my mom. Yeah, then my mom, between my parents, my mom's the bigger gamer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome to have that. So again, right, generationally, she's in a point where she has parents that were gamers. Did anybody else in here have parents that were playing gaming? Yeah? My parents, so luckily I had parents that were pretty casual with it, right? They didn't necessarily worry about what we were playing. It was definitely a time crunch, right? Because you didn't want to be in front of the idiot box for too long, right? But as we kind of grew up and matured, they allowed us more and more control over what we were playing. All right, who's going to share with me? What they want to hear this.
Well, I mean, I did Atari 2600 at home, but my first computer was the Tandy 1000, and I remember writing the program to play Hangman, to play Pong. We literally wrote the program.
Sure.
DOS. Yeah. Some of y'all probably remember. Well, some of them.
But where were you learning your programming from? Were you getting books from the library?
No, we had a computer class.
Awesome.
It was
Okay.
in middle school.
Okay.
6th
Wow.
grade, yeah, they bought Tandy 1000s and taught us how to use them.
That's incredible. I wanna go back to that.
Yeah, I did some Pong and Breakout on Atari, especially playing with my sister. She enjoyed that for a while.
See?
My dad only played the golf team on Atari. He never really got into any other games. But my first real jam was like the Mega Man games on the NES.
Why?
Those were good.
Why Mega Man?
Because it was like you kept making progress and there was like a challenge, right?
Was it big?
Yeah. And it kind of translates to modern day. Like I enjoyed Soul Blade.
Sure. Where, well, and even more that's going to a Souls game, right? Your choices, just like with Mega Man, is going to influence how your game progresses. That's fascinating. Right, younger buck. You said yes, your parents were gamers. Yeah, what did you play?
I started on
My dream, you can hold this, it's fine.
So yeah, I started on Dreamcast.
Amazing.
So
He shared his Dreamcast with you.
that was our time. Like mom went did whatever. That was our space. So you had stuff like Mr. Drill, and obviously very sexy. My biggest thing was Sega Marine Fishing. It sounds crazy.
Did you have a controller? Nice.
6 controllers with green and like clear or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that fishing. Coming up with 2 fishing. That was something that
Amazing.
it was fun.
That's
So that's how I
really
started with
awesome.
Dreamcast until PS2.
Okay.
Eventually.
Nice. Fascinating. Yeah?
Dreamcast was so awesome.
Right, that's a big
So-
start.
I started out on Sorry, I now know you.
Sweet. Or are they getting us over there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check, check.
Check.
Ooh, hey.
Here we go.
Thanks, gentlemen. So helpful. Good, go.
I started out on the Wii. I got it for Christmas in 2009, and I guess the thing that led me to where I am now is in the game Wii Music. There's something called an NES horn, and once I figured out what that was, that led me down the rabbit trail of the NES. I got one at a garage sale for $5 in 2015. Yeah.
Because it makes all the little like bips and boops.
Yep,
That,
that's exactly it.
because it looks like a mouse order. That's fantastic. What a funny like little Easter egg that was in a fantastic game. If anybody has a Wii, you better have Wii Music.
Yeah, if not for that, I probably wouldn't be here.
That's amazing. Anybody? Yeah?
Yeah, so kind of like your story, I started off on Atari 2600. I actually started with computers, I would say more so earlier on, Oregon Trail. And yeah, I was doing Oregon Trail early on. And then Civilization, learned how to get some free money right there. But anyway, 2600, played that with my dad. He's not a gamer, but I convinced him to play Breakout. Some new games, Pitfall was on there. Space Invaders. So yeah, that's my story. That's early days.
Really? But that's, so you convinced him, did he enjoy playing with you at some point?
I think he enjoyed time with me.
Okay, but that's a great, right, to bring it full circle, to bring it to current time. That's, all three of my kids are here. That's what we do as a family. We go to conventions, like random people look at you cross-eyed when I say that, but my kids are here, we're having fun. They've all kind of individualized the experience to themselves. And I still play how I play, my husband plays and he plays, and it's a wild thing to understand the community. Anybody?
So for me, a lot of you guys expressed that you had supportive families. For me, it was a little bit the opposite. I had a more traditional family, and the only games that I was allowed to play growing up were Moses and Noah on the Sega Genesis. So that was all I was allowed to play while I was a child, until I found out that Sonic existed. And I can say, when it first opened, it just opened my mind up to other games up. And I became obsessed with just trying to play any type of game I could get my hands on. Flash games, console games, PC games, whatever. Not in the household, of course. So I ended up having to smuggle things through. Growing up, the Game Boy Micro was the best thing ever invented to fit in my shoe.
In your shoe? Wow.
The first games I ever actually completed were Pokemon and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, because they were RPGs. I could pause them, title them, and play them the next day. But eventually, getting older, I wanted to get into proper console gaming, and the only way I could do that was gathering up all my friends' broken 360s and just building one. So my parents didn't know I had one. And now at this point, I've pretty much built and worked on every console that you can imagine. I build my own PCs and run my own computers.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
Of course.
That's kind of what I grew up to do.
That's amazing to see, and I think there was a lot more of that, but I feel like those families now who are the no screens, no, we're not gonna have video games in this house, those people are louder now, but I feel like a lot less of that, where it's like, no, I'm gonna draw the line, we're gonna have complete isolation, because we all have phones. Like I am still working to understand some of the families who are completely cutting out gaming from their kids' experiences. Because, in your case, it wound up working out great, it seems. But there are so many kids now who aren't learning how to kind of have that back and forth with a screen, learning how to handle that, and all they're doing is building up to when all of a sudden the parents say, okay, those kids aren't gonna know how to handle themselves.
Does he still have his Moses games? It's probably worth a lot now.
Do you still have those?
No, they're probably my grandmother. I have no idea where they are.
Those are worth a lot maybe now. They're rare.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What do you have for 'em?
they didn't make very many of those. Anybody in the back? Anybody?
You go first. I go
Ooh, because you set him up.
I guess I did. Yeah, I started
I think, well, my first console was the Atari 2600.
Awesome.
My dad got it. It was funny story. I think it's sort of like, it was for Christmas, and he was going out trying to get it, and it was sold out. Like he couldn't get it, couldn't find it. And one of his buddies at work said we live in Florida. There was a resort doing a like timeshare thing, and if you sat in the 90-minute timeshare speech or thing, they were giving away free Ataris. So him and his buddy went and got it. So that's how I got it. He was scrambling and then got that. So, but yeah, we in television, ColecoVision. On my like one friend had that. We did the floppy disk like Dr. Dre and Bird. So yeah, I was pretty old school, and then I went from Atari, then I went to then I went to Nintendo, the NES, then I went to Sega, then went to PlayStation, then went to GameCube, went to N64, and then the Wii.
Yeah.
And there we go.
What's your favorite Wii game?
I don't think I have one favorite
Okay.
one. So I have like Wii Sports Resort is always the top one. I like vividly remember my dad coming home from like GameStop and handing it to me and my sister. And so I think I was like 3 at the time. And then I have that one. Another underrated one is Mario Sports Mix, which is like Mario basketball, hockey, dodgeball, and volleyball. And then also Wii Party. Those are like probably my top.
The me guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy.
Yeah, I know Wii Party.
Yeah, I was.
So did you do a lot of co-op playing then?
Yeah, so our neighborhood, we had like 3 different families, and they all had Wiis, but they would always come over. So I would have basically every day I would play the Wii with somebody new. If that makes
Whichever
sense.
victim was there ready to
Yeah,
play.
Yeah, so it was pretty fun. So I would always play with a bunch of people.
And I spent a lot of late nights with Mario Kart, when he was like 4, getting all the different characters.
Unlocks.
Yeah, all that. And then he would call me every once because he couldn't read. But what he could do is he could start up the Wii and get everything and get going. But on a couple of occasions he deleted all the data on Mario Kart. So
I thought I missed our dad.
he would call me at work, bawling. And then I had to come home and then a lot of late hours. But yeah. So we've gained a lot together, which is great.
That's amazing. So, just as a person moving forward into your future, as that being your start, right, versus maybe you were a single solo player to start, right? How different are you than he is because of that? Your starting memories, right, are of co-op games, right? You're used to playing and competing against other people, where the other person you're really playing against is you. So it's really interesting to think about that. Do you still game currently?
Yeah.
On your phone or?
No, I don't play anything on my phone.
Nice.
So I have like a Switch 2.
Okay.
And
Do you
Xbox.
play online games?
Yeah.
With other people? Does that interest you at all?
No.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, we used to play, like during COVID, him and I would play Splatoon a lot.
Yeah.
And that was, like now some of the games are like, just, like they're too much for me, Like, I like
it's been a long
watching
5
them,
years, Dad.
So we would play, we'd get on the phone with people, on the
Yes,
phone,
absolutely.
and then play and get in thing. So we had a full, good year of that.
Awesome.
That was kind of, and then I played a little Rocket League until he's really good at it.
Are you? Congratulations, so hard.
So I just backed out. I just started backing
Sure.
out, just watching, which is great.
It is fun. Rocket League I could watch all day. It's so fun.
Yeah.
For Splatoon, we played Splatoon 2 during COVID, and we got pretty good at it. And when I got Splatoon 3, I started playing it a little bit more, and then I totally just stopped playing because I thought it was boring. And one of my best friends who I always used to play Splatoon with came back like maybe a month ago to just play it, and we just got
Here we
destroyed. It's crazy.
Yeah, 3 is a whole nother
I don't like
beast.
3. I think 2 is way better.
It's really intense. All right, any other takers? Yeah? All right, where'd you start?
It was Christmas 2003.
Okay.
I lived in the boonies of
Best
Florida.
place for gaming.
And I never had my own console. It was always Dad bought a PlayStation and we were allowed to use it.
Oh.
And he was very clear. Then, because Amazon had just started, all the big box stores did their price guarantee. If you found a cheaper price online, they would match it. And my mom, her name is Karen, she went to eBay and she found those listings for Game Boys for $5 and walked right into Sears and walked out with Game Boy Advance systems for $5 each.
Wow.
Dang.
So my first personal thing was a Game Boy Advance, the old black flipper
Yeah.
with Pokemon Sapphire. And then my mom would use video games as currency to get me to do special chores. So that's how they got a flower bed. That's how she got a burn pit. Did I get anything out of that? No, he was just waking up on Saturday and telling me to do something.
Yeah.
But I didn't know you beat the Pokemon game. I thought you just beat the Pokemon League and did it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea that there were other things to do
Wow.
until 10 years later.
Oh, we didn't know. I mean, even in
Had no internet.
2003, right?
I know internet out there. My parents were not spending $40 on a strategy game. So when I saw them little caves with the weird letters and stuff, I didn't know there was Braille. I was 8. I didn't know Braille existed.
Wow. That's, see, in handheld gaming, kind of had its moment in the sun, and then now, if you call Switch and switch to mobile, right, or handheld games, maybe it's made, quite the resurgence. I don't know. That's interesting. My brother had a Game Boy Color, but it just wasn't interesting to me. Maybe he wasn't sharing. That might be part of it too. But it never, I don't really remember ever wanting it. All right, so we're all coming from all these different places. Let me have a look at my questions list so that my ADHD doesn't drive the conversation. So coming from all these different places, right, we each kind of have our memories or our favorites and those kinds of things. So one of the things that's always very memorable to me, related to Banjo-Kazooie, is I have that one puzzle piece that I could even see it. I could see it and I could not get it, right? That was one of my first milestone frustrations, right? And that was part of what drove me so hard into that game and what drove me into finding other, right? Because Banjo-Kazooie, if God bless you haven't played it, it is a collectathon. Like, it's one of the founding fathers of collectathon. Everything you do in that game, right, is go get this stuff and then come back and unlock this and go get this stuff, right? Fight these guys and then come and get this. And so I did complete it, right, with 98 puzzle pieces. You do finish the game, but it's not, right, in my heart, it's not done. So I think from that, I was ready and willing to move on to other things. So I lucked out, and I had a friend with PlayStation. The next game that I really got into after that was Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX came out, and I already knew what it was like to put in the time and the hours and to read a game, right? Because Final Fantasy doesn't happen without a little hand-holding at least. And so that just kind of pushed me forward, and I played so much Final Fantasy. I did 9, 10, 10, 2, and then I went back, because God bless college, I was playing emulators of all of the originals on my computer, all the way up to 6, 7, and 8. I actually played on CD-ROM on my computer, which I don't necessarily recommend, but I did it. And then I did actually wind up playing 8 on my PlayStation again. So that's one of the other things, right? We all have our favorites, our yeses, the things that we really, really liked, and then we have those burning angers, right? Those things that are still back there but it doesn't drive me away, right? I'm still super willing to tell you all, I love Banjo-Kazooie. It was gorgeous, and the music to it was crazy. There was nothing else like it, right? The animation, nothing else like that. But I still hate its guts in this one, really weird way. And so that's another question that I have, right? Is what in the back of your mind, right? What is your, not a regret, right? I don't regret playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I don't even necessarily regret leaving those puzzle pieces, because it just wasn't happening, right? Middle school Lindsay was not going to get those. So I guess that's the next round of questions, is we're gonna do, what is that frustration that's back there? What is that thing? I'm sorry, VIP, you sat up front, so you're going again. What is that thing that's in the back of your mind that I don't know, it's almost like that stumbling block that propelled you forward, do you know what I mean?
You guys remember that part in Majora's Mask where you have to carry,
Everybody laughs.
when you have to carry that dumb bomb from point A to point B, and it is an absolute obstacle course of just, you make one mistake, that bomb blows up, you have to start from point 0 to do it again. And you're on a 3-day time limit. I love Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorite adventures of all time, but my God, that bomb is such a frustration point, and every time I get to that point, I'm just like, why did they make it this way?
Because they made arcade games, and we're still dealing with, right, feed the machine as part of gaming today. Any other frustrations anybody want to share? Yeah?
Excalibur 2.
It's just good, that's it. We get 2 words. Anybody?
For Final Fantasy 9, remember? Because you go through and you get everything, and it's
Lightly.
like, and then it's like, well, to get this, you have to beat the game in like 10 hours.
Oh my gosh, yes, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. No, I never even thought about it.
I'll go.
It's indicating.
He's still haunting me from last night. Mike Tyson. Watch out.
Oh, man.
We were playing Switch Online until like 12:30. I could not beat Mr. Dream to save my life. And even when I was a little kid, I saw it over and over. You didn't have quick save, you didn't have save states, you had none of that. You had no strategy, you had no internet. How I beat him as a kid, I have no idea.
Did you though? You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
beating
As a
it?
kid, yeah, 100%. But I didn't know Mike Tyson was a thing. It's called
reflexes.
Right.
I didn't know Mike Tyson was a thing. I had Mr. Dream, so I punched out people from Mr. Dream. And then another childhood memory would be just any disciplinary blocks in Mega Man. Just when you have to jump in, disappear. No, I just can't take that.
Yeah.
That's why I never beat like the first few. But 6 was always my favorite.
Yeah? Frustration?
Yeah, in the Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Nintendo thought it was a good idea to have the Temple of the Ocean King. And so basically, after every dungeon you beat, you have to go back to the same dungeon on the main island. And it's never made me so angry before. I think I almost threw my 3DS
Because
when I was
just
playing it.
the road beating.
You have to
back
just
and
keep going back. You have to
and
keep
back.
going to the same. You have to keep going through the same puzzles, but it's harder and harder as you keep going down, and you're on a time limit as well.
Of course.
So, I don't know. I didn't like it. Also, you have to try to control it with control Link with the stylus, which is not fun.
Ooh, yeah, no.
So,
That would not be fun at all. So, but from these frustrations, right, that didn't stop you from playing on your DS, did it?
No.
No, it probably actually made you better.
I threw a
Yes, sir.
PlayStation out my sliding glass door.
Okay, yep, there's a story.
Yeah, anger issues when I was younger, I guess. Being the only child playing video games. No, I was out of college. I was playing PlayStation, and it was football. I kind of forget the football game, but there was one play where I ran with my running back that every single time he would get stuffed and fumble the ball. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to run this one more time, and if he fumbles the ball, I'm going to get rid of that. So anyways, he not only did he not fumble the ball, he got pushed back into the end zone and then fumbled the ball, and then they got a touchdown. And it was
Oh, my
like,
word.
and it was just one of those, and my girlfriend at the time was just sitting back, and I ripped the console. I lived on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex. I ripped the console out, and opened my sliding glass door and flung it into the dumpster. And that was it. And then I gave myself 2 months before I bought it again. Gave myself, so I've also snapped a golf club over my knee. Gave myself 2 months to buy that golf club back again. So I am good at that, but I don't think I break anything anymore, so that's
No?
good. I've grown out of it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, but that's a great point though, and I think that's something, as we're talking about gaming now moving forward, now that we've all had to learn how to deal with our frustrations and stuff, that is another reason in the current day and age that a lot of people are like, oh no, he can't handle losing. So I'm just not gonna let them play video games. Okay, but what that's doing is removing the opportunity for that kid to learn how to lose. Don't let your kids beat you at Mario Kart all the time. Did you always let him win?
No.
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 Learn.
Yeah, when he started beating me, it was like legit beating me.
And that's incredible for you and for him. When my kids beat me, oh my gosh. So I have a kid that plays Smash. I hate playing Smash with him. I won't play anymore. It's miserable. I'm basically the sandbag, right? Like, why am I even here? You're gonna just, and the worst is if he's practicing, he'll call out what he's doing to me while he's doing it. He's like, I don't wanna hear that you're narrating me. I don't even know what that means, right? Just, it is.
So it's like an anime.
Yeah, kinda, right? It's like kind of coming. It's like, whoa, and please don't do that. But that's one of the things I think moving forward, hopefully culturally, as our little people who are growing up to now be bigger people and bigger gamers and are hopefully influencing things now, hopefully we're gonna learn that gaming is a great place to start learning some of these life lessons, right, that we all have learned, right? That the Mega Man blocks don't care that you're mad. They don't care. And do you know what? You cared for a minute and then you rebooted and you tried it again, right? Where kids today do have the pause, do have the rewind, but hopefully they're gonna stick with it and get through it. And that's just one of the many cultural things that I think so many people can't see around the fact that it's on a TV, right? They can't see around even playing some mobile games. I think some mobile games are really sharp, but it's just on. It's just on his screen. Yeah, but he's on there on Discord playing with his friends who are God knows where, right? It's summer break. My kids are everywhere. So we're playing together, we're challenging each other, we're making each other better as we're playing. And yeah, I'm losing. Luckily, my kids have kind of gotten over that point because the husband and I don't pull our punches, which is awesome. And it is awesome when they come around that corner and they're beating you legitimately, and it's like, right? And now I'm practicing so that my kids aren't necessarily beating me into the ground. It's a really interesting thing to think about, and that's one of our major roles as parents, as community members, as whomever, right? Future president in here, never know. Is to think about what you're doing and how we are necessarily guiding other gamers. Because this is a small fraction of who all is here today, tomorrow, the whole weekend, right? And I think being a conscientious gamer, right? Thinking meta, it's a great word for it, right? Thinking about what you're doing, thinking about what you're thinking about why you're doing things. Because one of my favorite stories, talking about gaming, I'll kind of wrap up with this and we'll go through and talk, is to think about who were the people that helped guide me as a gamer, right? Who were the people? Sure, my parents, right for Christmas, we got that N64, right? It is cool the way they did it, is for the way our family did Christmas Eve, we got one game or one gift, right? And so they kind of like arranged things to make sure the one gift that we opened would be right. Except the gifts that they made my brother and I open were N64 controllers. And so then they get to play stupid for like 12 hours, right? Until in the morning, it was like, oh, there's the console. So my parents were there and they were definitely involved. They really didn't play with us, right? I remember them playing Atari and watching them play Atari, but they weren't necessarily playing with us. Right, my brothers. And then I had a kid down the street who had a Super Nintendo. And that was the person who so heavily influenced my gaming, right? Because we would hang out and then, oh man, I'm gonna sleep over there tonight and then we're gonna get to go to Family Video and we'll rent a game, right? That was basically what gaming research was back then, right? Go to the video game store and read some boxes, right? Because that's all you really got to do. So I think understanding that gaming going forward is kind of on all of us, right? The industry is going to do what it's going to do. But I think if we're conscientious about what we're doing and how we're kind of helping Sherpa people into gaming and help them think about gaming as more than just screen time, I think is a really important thing that we can do as, I'm sorry to categorize everybody as this hardcore gamers, right? If we're here for a convention, yeah, you're hardcore. You fall into the category. So I'm curious. My last question is we're gonna walk through, who was your Sherpa? Who got you into gaming, right? Who's the person that comes to mind when you think about, this person guided me?
I'm kind of that influence for my friends.
Yes.
Core memory, I remember when I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PlayStation 2, way back in the day. My best friend called me on the home phone to ask me, like, hey, I'm stuck at this one part, can you, like, tell me how to get through it? And I explained to him over the phone, I could hear the game in the background. Like, yeah, you gotta, like, crawl into the stuff to defuse the bomb. That's what you gotta do.
I wanna do this, too bad.
So I was kind of that person, kind of guided my friends there.
Since you already know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I hope you continue that into the future. Oh, we got a hand up.
Yeah, but, my mom, as I mentioned earlier, and also I forgot to mention that prior to the Genesis, she grew up with the Atari.
Nice.
And while she never had it during my childhood, she told me about it, and she showed me pictures from this Indiana Jones game she had. And it's interesting seeing how the graphics look different.
It really has changed, even from the Atari to Sonic.
Yeah, she helped me learn how to play Sonic. And like we started with the 2-player mode in Sonic 2. Where she would play as Sonic and I would play as Tails.
Perfect.
And she taught me how to spin dash and everything.
See, so you had your Sherpa. Your person was right there in your own house.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There aren't very many people from back in the day that we necessarily had that person living in our house.
Yeah, so I remember playing Legend of Zelda, and I'm just a knucklehead that would bomb every single wall until something worked. And then, like, my first grade teacher was like, how do you solve this thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a secret room here you gotta do. And so it did all that, but then I had friends, like a buddy next door, we played Bubble Bobble, like, constantly. That was awesome. So, like, it was more of a social thing, like,
Right.
it was me, teachers, friends, whatever.
See, and I feel like so many people, it's still so categorized this way, like this solo, right? You're like, in your own space now. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm at a convention on weekends.
Yeah.
I would have to say it was my brother.
Awesome.
We basically played probably before a lot of times, and you probably remember, but it was a handheld football game that was literally dots.
Oh yeah.
Red light up.
Yes.
That thing showed up in the Christmas stocking.
Me and my brother used to play that, and he would beat me all the time. And
Of
he's the one who
course.
got me into it.
That's love. Well, but right, because that balance of I can do it this time, I can do it. All right, I'm gonna let somebody one more. Frustration. Let's hear it.
So talking about frustration, I'm also ambitious.
Nice.
And yeah, Banjo-Kazooie definitely set me down that path. I have probably two major frustrations. One would be the Lego series. I love them to death. They're not exactly difficult. They're just massive, and they always have bugs. You can never 100% them without using cheat codes. I always have to. Like, I will collect everything and watch the number not change, and I have to put in a cheat code for it to register or something. It drives me nuts.
They're doing it on purpose at this point.
The other one would be that I decided to curse myself with the Assassin's Creed series. Don't do that to yourself, anybody. There are a lot of items, and I'm still working my way through Origins. So.
You gotta try and find all those failures and so,
Dude, and the story payoff, not worth it. Not worth it at all.
It's not worth it. Leave them behind. So, I guess from that, right, I'm hoping that everybody is kind of coming from this, thinking about, right, how diverse, right, if you want to use a term, diverse we all are, and yet we're all still, again, coming together this weekend, moving together into the future, and I hope the future for a bazillion years to come, right? I don't want gaming to ever end. I really hope that it's something like that my kids are going to be able to teach to whatever comes next. And thank you so much. if you want to give me any other attention, LL Cool Games is my Facebook, Instagram, whatever that happens to be, wherever you want to be. Thank you so much. Have an amazing weekend. Yeah, it's a great time to get to be here. So, thanks all. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. I'm gonna go look.